Welcome to the Big Beautiful Disney Recap Show, a new series where we're going to be covering Dane's videos and talking about them. Today, joining me, I have Annie from a long time
Formerly
friend,
Twitter.
normally Twitter, X,
I
whatever the
used to
hell
be
it's
on
called.
Twitter a long time ago.
A longtime friend of my show and Dane's show. Dane kind of trapped us in a cellar below Epcot, and
It smells
we're
musky in
forced to
here.
do this at the rats from Ratatouille are threatening to bite our toes off if we
Can't
don't
you
do
see them
this.
coming at you, gnawing your little toes?
Yeah, they're currently you know the hallways under interventions. That's where we are right
I think I found a Figment animatronic down here. Or is that the real Figment's dead corpse? You know what? We'll let the,
now. Let's
the
Dane
viewers
Dane
decide.
has his lab down here. We don't know what he cooks up in here,
Oh
but
no.
apparently, according to the giant flashing LED screen up in the corner, we are covering Pop Century, which is a quite terrifying hotel on its own.
All the values are genuinely terrifying to me, and I'm not saying that out of privilege. I just think they're scary.
Oh no, the TV just changed to say, "Tell them a story, or the rats will be unleashed." Okay,
Well,
enough with the stick. One of the funniest things that has happened between the three of us, I guess, is a long time ago, about 2 years ago, we were on a Discord call about 11:30 at night, and we decided to watch Captain EO. And Dane starts eating yogurt and says the words Captain EO's yogurt chunks. And that has been an in-joke ever since.
it won't be an in-joke for long. This is gonna go viral.
Oh yeah, Captain EO's yogurt chunks is gonna be featured on merch at the parks. It's gonna be
Absolutely.
everyone.
And something about it sounds just slightly phallic in a very intriguing way. So I bet it's gonna pop off.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like the Morocco, the thing they tore out.
I need to look that up. Stop
But
scaring me.
I have stayed at Pop Century. I don't know about you.
Mm-mm.
It feels like it doesn't feel like a Disney hotel, if that makes sense. It feels very cheap and recycled.
But isn't All Star Sports and movies just kind of that too? Oversized
Yeah,
props, very colorful.
but it's such a fascinating hotel because it just took so long for it to get built.
And I think it's a very cool concept too, in its own weird, kitschy way.
But I guess the word I'm looking for is it wasn't executed properly.
Yeah, I feel like the theme could be subtle and elevated, but that isn't what these resorts are for. So
No.
maybe I'm complaining to deaf ears.
Are you looking to plan a Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or Universal trip but don't know where to buy your tickets? Undercover Tourist has discounted Disney or Universal tickets. All you need to do is go on their website, click on the calendar when you want to go, and Undercover Tourist will give you the best price available.
I usually get the 6-day Disney theme park base ticket with park hopper option for Disney World. But I do recommend the 4-day Disney theme park base ticket with 2 extra days, or the park ticket with option. Or for Universal, the 2-day park to park plus extra day, and for Universal Hollywood, the 1-day general admission non-peak ticket is a great offer that Undercover Tourist can give you. You can also find great deals on Orlando or Disney and Universal resorts. And the same goes for the West Coast. Disneyland resorts and Universal Studios Hollywood resorts, you can find great deals.
Or let's say you're a travel agent or travel agency looking to buy theme park tickets. You can do that for your clients or yourself. So go down in the description and hit that link so they know I sent you. And I hope you enjoy your vacation. Let's get to the video.
Audiobooks.com is home to over 375,000 premium audiobooks. Download its app to listen to books like the New York Times bestsellers and perfect first listens. The members get access to exclusive deals and sales, an extra book for free every month with our VIP program, and the option to listen to unlimited listening through audiobook clubs. There's also over 100 million great free podcasts to listen to. So click the link in the description and get 3 free audiobooks and a free trial. And I hope you discover some great books
So Dane primarily focuses on in his video the history of the hotel from its development to its construction. And just like our recent podcast episode, Michael Eisner gets brought up. He seems to show up in almost everything.
Because whether you like him or not, everything he had as Disney was just so iconic and weird
Oh yeah,
that
for
it's
sure.
timeless.
Nothing like, I guess, Galactic Star Cruiser is this generation's Pop Century.
Except that just closed
Yeah.
next month.
But Pop Century is such it's not reliant on pop culture at all. It is just what was prominent then, and
Well,
I
it's
think
pop culture, but it's not IP, definitely.
yeah, it's not
It's very
yet.
interesting.
Yet.
Yeah. How in Disney monetize history? We'll find out.
But it has this very charming feel to it, that it has these
It really
giant
does.
statues, these themed pools, but it doesn't work for me, I guess.
See, I'm struggling to figure out how this would be different from the other values that all kind of just look like this to me. Is it that it's not cohesive because of all the decades?
Yeah, I wish I understand that makes it cohesive because it's all the decades, but it feels very like without the other half, it feels incomplete.
Interesting. Since I didn't know about this before, it's very interesting to think that this would have been all the 20th century, because what we got were definitely iconic years. Like everyone knows the 60s was hippie culture, and the 80s was rock music, and then we have the computer pool for the 90s. So I guess it would be interesting as a complete picture, but as the video goes on to explain, like all the different statues for the 1900s and 1920s and 30s doesn't really seem that interesting. Like, oh, a puzzle piece pool, like how iconic of the decade.
Yeah, because I feel like those time periods are associated with horrible, horrible, horrible
Exactly. There you
things.
go. Who wants a depression themed or World War II themed building?
Like every year is associated with something horrible. Like
Live in
this
the 2020s.
hotel was deeply impacted by 9/11, as Dane explains in his video, because the economy crashed. And it kind of sent this hotel onto a crash course for becoming a butt of a joke, especially on Diz Twitter. It is a very, like, some people like it, some people don't like it. I think if it opens completed, it would be more well received, but maybe now it would be controversial because of the association with those decades.
I wonder if it falls into the Dinoland USA problem of it's not that old in history of that time period, but it's so kind of over the top in a way that it doesn't feel like a very themed or elevated experience.
Speaking of Dinoland USA, I can't wait until the episode of Big Beautiful Disney on Dinoland USA, because that doesn't have long left. Dinoland USA is going to outlast Pop Century, which I never thought would happen.
Well, that's a scary thought. I hope that video is filmed on location, though, as the corpse of dinosaur rots behind him.
Yeah, this Big Beautiful Disney video was shot on location. I don't know when it was shot. I believe quite a while ago. Yeah, it was spring, I believe. He unfortunately does not have the ability to teleport to Walt Disney World at free will like I do. It is
share your power.
Credit to Dane for shooting on location. I've had experience with several canceled projects, inspired by various sources. To shoot on location, it is so hard. It is. I shot this Back to the Future the Ride video a long time ago, and it is no longer on YouTube. I lost it. I regret deleting it. It was a lot of fun to shoot.
That was an amazing video. It was just so much happened in it.
It was so hot outside to shoot in the Marty McFly costume at Universal. It was an interesting time.
Maybe if we would have filmed it in January, but you have to be a very specific like date of the year to do that.
I feel like a lot of people don't understand the concept of shooting on location and how, like, you may think of it just writing a script, throwing up a camera, and filming. But no, you have to deal with people ruining your shot. You have to deal with people messing with you. You have to deal with audio issues. it is just this never-ending cycle of issues that makes it super hard to shoot in the park. So you have to give like, yeah, it's a hotel, but it's still shooting on location where a lot of things could
Mhm.
interrupt your filming.
And it looks pretty quiet in these shots that I'm
Yeah.
scrubbing through right now. I don't know, people
Uh,
walking by.
Let me ask Dane if this was shot was this shot in the morning or like the afternoon when everybody was at the parks?
It looks very sunny out, but it's Florida, so I guess that
Yeah.
doesn't help.
So
Uh-huh.
Dane said that this was shot around noon, so that means everybody was at the parks. So of course the hotel would be pretty quiet.
That's a good bet. I mean, noon is like peak, especially around that time. It's hot. No one
The
wants to be
microphone-
anywhere.
You know what I just realized? The microphone quality is pretty good down here, especially with all the construction going on up there. You know, over the journey of water and all that stuff. But I can't wait. Big Beautiful Disney will eventually come get us. You know, when that stuff opens.
Drag us to Disney.
Yeah. We're already here. We just have to crawl out of.
Let's crawl out of the basement. Maybe we'll record some epic video.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe some kind of parody of Journey of Water talking about how lame of an attraction it is.
Hey, we can't knock it till we try it. If it
Yeah.
can let us get it sounds dirty. If we can let us get wet and avoid the heat, maybe Epcot will need it.
And like speaking of the 80s, the 80s building is my favorite.
Oh, absolutely. The 80s anything is always my favorite.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Pop Century is the music loop is a mix between now Disney music and generic pop music. So it's jarring to go from something like Madonna to Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
At least it's like dated pop music.
Yeah.
I was
It-
going, or they're playing like radio hits from today. Hopefully not. I'm looking at a picture here of Pop Century, the 80s section. The building says yuppies on top. I don't like that. I don't like this at all, but what can I say?
It says what on the
It says YUPPIES.
Oh. Well, that's not good. Oh well,
I don't know.
time to tear it all down. Let's go.
Oh,
shoot the
absolutely.
Sledgehammers. It's time. Some tune in. Dane, at least you got footage of it before it has to be torn down. I'm really sorry to break the news to you, but
Yeah,
me and
it's our
Annie are
fault.
gonna go right now and rip it to shreds.
Oh, here's Radical and Max. I love
Yeah,
how I
isn't
didn't
there-
realize they had writing on them.
Isn't the 70s one like surf themed?
What is it?
The 70s one has like surfing. Because everybody was surfing in the 70s apparently.
Really? I wish I could go back and fact check that.
But like this video is one of my favorites by Big Beautiful Disney, mainly because the way it's edited.
It
Like, I
definitely feels a
really
little
like-
more dramatic.
Yeah.
In a good way, not overly.
Yeah, it Pop Century out of all the hotels has such an interesting history.
It really does. Like, how many hotels were built in halves like that? Like, I mean, obviously, French Quarter, there are two sides of it, but nothing like this where it was incomplete and then just left there.
Like out of all the Disney hotels that are like extinct, Pop Century's second half is the most fascinating to me because
Remember Reflections and how Disney just never
Yeah.
talked about it until they canceled?
Yeah.
I guess it's another one.
and remember how they're building the ugly Polynesian Tower and ruining
Oh, I hope it looks better than it does in the pictures. I really do.
Me too. But one of their I want Dane to eventually cover the Disney Institute. I can't remember if he has. It's such an interesting place like this. They were built around the same time, I think. No,
It's the
Disney
90s,
Institute-
edutainment time.
Yeah, edutainment.
Missed that word.
I love edutainment.
Right. I like the idea that Disney can provide educational opportunities. Like maybe not as on the nose as that, but I feel like there's a lot to share. All the history and all the skill that goes into the Disney parks.
I'm a huge fan of Disney park smells, but what happens when I'm at home and not at the parks? Can I still smell those smells? Yes! Magic Candle Company brings you the best smells from around the world to your home. From riding a banshee to a Hawaiian lobby, Magic Candle Company has you covered with small and large candles, fragrance oils, wax melts, and more. So head down and hit my link in the description and be sure to use code BigBeautifulDiz15 for 15% off your entire order. I've been burning their candles and using their fragrance oils for many years, and I can tell you they are fantastic. Again, head to the link in the description and be sure to use BigBeautifulDiz15 for 15% off your entire order.
Hey everyone, let me tell you about Entertainment Earth. So are you looking for the best way to buy specifically Funko Pops, let's say? Well, I go to entertainmentearth.com because they have the best selection of Funko Pops. They have old and new arrivals. Plus they have some great products by Hasbro, Mattel, Loungefly, and they have the Pops, like I said, as well, and the action figures, the statues, the Transformers, the magnets, the vinyl figures, prop replicas. And the big driving point for me is to get this stuff maybe even before it's out, but as soon as it's released. And this site has the best selection when it comes to new items. So next time you're looking for Funko Pops, be sure to go over to entertainmentearth.com and use offer code BBDIZ on your first purchase. This offer is for in-stock items only, but be sure to use code BBDIZ to let them know I sent you. Anyway, back to the video.
I do have a soft spot for this hotel because we keep jumping around. This video is supposed to remain
Just like the podcast.
largely on topic. So I think we should go through each building and give our thoughts about them.
Okay,
Before
I'm
we
gonna pull up some
actually-
pictures here.
So we briefly talked about it, and I'm looking at Dane's video right now on mute. The layout of Pop Century is just so weird. These buildings are T-shaped. They're very cheap. But you have something called the Hoops Hotel, Center Court, Surfs Up.
It sounds like All-Star Sports leftovers.
Oh, this is All Star Sports. I'm dumb.
I'm pulling up a map as well. We can judge this fairly harshly.
Okay, I got it. So they have an area based off Fantasia, The Love Bug.
That's
Toy
isn't that Art of
Story.
Animation?
No, this is Cinema Hall. This is movies. I'm looking at I keep looking at the wrong.
Cut this
wrong
out.
screen. I'll find the real map eventually. Okay, I found it. It's blurry, but it's here.
Yeah, it's a little blurry. Oh, I see the buildings here. They are definitely, they look so elongated in a very uncomfortable way.
I think I was confused because Pop Century and All-Star Movies and All-Star Sports have very similar building designs.
Yeah, the kind of one massive thing in my opinion.
Yeah, a very ugly, massive thing.
Oh yeah, all these T-shaped buildings look so odd. Why are they this long? I don't like it.
Like I'm so fascinated by the construction photos.
Oh my god.
And like Dane did talk about how Art of Animation is the second half of Pop Century, and you can tell that from the lobby. If you go to the lobby at Art of Animation, you can tell that it's very similar.
There's like vestiges in the theming, or is it just the way that it's built is very similar?
Just the way that it's built is very similar.
It feels so strange to have this decades themed hotel and then a movie one when they already have all-star movies.
Well, I mean, it shows the progression of the Disney parks.
Yeah, I guess so.
You have this very classically themed thing that's not directly IP, and then you have something
And
IP
then the IP right next to it, over the
Mm.
bridge.
just over the bridge, literally.
I can't
Um,
entirely hate on a hotel that has Skyliner
One
access,
thing,
but
one thing I do
close.
have to mention is that the Skyliner station is kind of themed between the two.
Really? I've never taken the Skyliner that far. I've only taken it to Riviera.
And it was just like abandoned for so long. And they had put the letters on the buildings as well. But it's just so fascinating that it took so long.
So many years for them to decide just not to build it and to go in another direction.
Yeah. It just sat there, rotting away. They only had built 2 buildings, which are now the Little Mermaid buildings.
But why did they build this like all-star, not all-star, art of animation instead of finishing the other resort? Is it just bigger marketing to
Probably.
basically be like, we're building a whole new hotel?
Most likely, because the Little Mermaid buildings are exactly the same as Dane mentions in his video. And like before you hear this, you probably should go watch the video because we're doing a horrible job at explaining it.
Oh, please, yeah, watch the video first.
But I think overall he did a great job on this video. I love the fact that he goes through and talks in depth about it being abandoned instead of like what most videos would do, where it kind
It's
of just
abandoned at the end.
gloss over the fact that it was abandoned for so long. It's just so fascinating to me. And of course, we get a No New Friends podcast after the end of this episode.
I'm just scrubbing here, and it looks like these are kind of identical. There's an aerial shot of the scary T-shaped building. I don't like it at all.
I don't like the T-shaped buildings. You want to know what's weird? From Dane's video, the building was just straight up like almost finished. The rooms were practically like they were built, but not like done.
It looks like they got pretty close. Which just makes it even more baffling
got
that they
pretty
opened
far.
something, but they pivoted completely.
Yeah, it sat there for so long.
I guess the hype had died, and bringing it back would just not feel complete.
This Twitter's gonna long for the years that Pop Century was supposed to be. The
I don't think they are yet, but they will.
Yeah. You know, when that generation, it's gonna be like their Epcot Center.
That is a scary thought, to think that this could be as nostalgic to people as Epcot. Like, we're gonna have Pop Century 25 and 40 and all these different anniversaries.
Like it's gonna be around in 25 years.
It won't, don't worry.
Don't worry.
What hotel do you think will go in that one? I guess that answers the question, right? But do you have any others that you think are just about to die?
I'm gonna say All Star Movies is probably gonna get updated. That's a guess. I always felt like Art of Animation felt like something they wanted to do to All Star Movies.
Right, because it's movies. It's
And
animation.
they didn't have the budget to do it. They wanted to tear down part of All Star Movies and build this. And like the buildings are extremely similar. Like we said, if you go on Google Maps, you can't tell the difference. That's why I was so confused. Like the layouts are so similar. So I don't know if it was like a fad to build ugly buildings like this, or if it was just like that's how it is.
I suppose so. The trend that Disney's going toward with the hotels is like untheming them in a way, which I can't say that I like. But if I had to predict what would happen to this hotel, if anything, like, do you think that these Valley resorts one day would be like made more modern and somewhat unthemed from their original?
Oh no, not
state?
unthemed, but I do definitely see them enclosing All Stars completely, getting rid of the outdoor balconies almost by building just walls there. And like,
Building the wall. Oh no.
oh
For
god,
the 2010s building, that's what they're gonna do.
yeah, for the 2010s building, it's gonna be Vine, and then the 2020s is gonna be TikTok.
It's gonna be like music note shape for TikTok and everything.
Oh god, I would die.
But it's interesting to see how these decades, like with the people aging,
Yeah.
how the nostalgia for these decades is gonna continue going. And
I
what
feel like
happened.
the 80s will never lose.
And that's what I hope, because I am like that and you're like that too. The 80s is the best decade.
Yeah, I wish I lived in the 80s.
We wouldn't be recording this podcast, but hey, we have to make some sacrifices.
That's really all I have to say about this episode, other than that it's probably one of his best.
Yeah, I love the video. The hotel is questionable.
Yeah. Where it feels like we're
computer
kind of
pulls
just
all that.
running around in circles here, thought-wise. So subscribe to
Yeah.
Big Beautiful Disney, if you haven't already. If you're watching this, I hope you're subscribed, or else you're a horrible person. Listen to our podcast. It came from Disney Plus.
We allowed to
Dane will
plug
be
that.
on. Dane will hopefully be on the next episode. We don't know what yet, but we're probably recording it after this, so we'll find out.